Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your host Rosa Vasquez, and this is the Tokyo Bronx ACG Season 2 Show and Tell Social Mixer Series. I thank you all for joining, and those who decide to join later, I thank you for watching. So, we'll have a few new audience members and those who are looking to get to know more about our guests for today. So just to get to know, let you guys know what's going on for today and also what the Tokyo Bronx ACG is. So Tokyo Bronx is one brand, ACG Social Mixer is another brand. So ACG stands for Anime, Comic, and Gaming Social Mixers. So it's a place where you can mix and mingle with local creatives and artists and also those in cross-cultural mashups of anything urban anime, comic, and gaming related in those genres. So we're affiliated now for about a year already. Wow, it's been so fast. The pandemic seems like, COVID seems like a long day. So we affiliated ourselves with the Tokyo Bronx. So Tokyo Bronx is, so thank you those who are joining. So Tokyo Bronx is all about the celebration of things related to urban anime and a mecha mashup from Bronx to Tokyo, and back. So we're going to be doing a couple of these series next month if you decide to join in. We're going to have my co-host, Sean Hill. He's going to be talking about the Tokyo Bronx, and he's going to be also doing interviews with local creators and artists at the Boogie Down Grind Cafe. So I do shout out to the Boogie Down Grind Cafe for allowing us to use their space to do those interviews. So be on the lookout for sneak peeks of some of those interviews with those local creators. And also, we'll be having those interviews next month for you as well. So let me bring in my guests. All right. Let's see here. There we go. All right. You join me shortly. Hey, I see you. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us here. Truly appreciate it.
Yes, I mustered up the courage. I was actually a little nervous. I haven't vlogged or anything in so long, and I haven't cosplayed in so long.
Oh, it's all good. Like one thing I stress to everybody and also myself before I get on here is just very chill and chillax vibes. It's nothing formal or anything. It's just be yourself.
I
Just be
say the
yourself,
same thing, but I'm still like, ah.
So this is Jennifer Perez. She is the CEO of Puchicon Anime and Video Game Convention. She's also the founder of Puchicon Anime and Video Game Convention. She's a mother, convention creator, and wife. She's a strong advocate for mental health as someone who has ADHD superpowers and who makes sure there's a strong empathy and emphasis on combining that along with physical health and caring for oneself and caring for others. So I do appreciate you coming in and everyone who's also watching live here as well. So that was just a little bit that I tell people about you. So you know yourself best. So tell us more that I may have missed.
So yeah, I actually started watching anime maybe even when I was like a little wee lad, like 6 or 7 years old, because my aunt had a crush on Speed Racer, no less. So yeah. I didn't know what the heck that was, if it was anime or whatever at the time. But yeah, that was like one of the first ones I saw. But that was like at a very young age. I didn't know what I was doing. But I would say in high school I got more into anime. My ex at the time would see like horror, I guess, like Hellsing, and he was also into DBZ, and I know it's really big. I never could get into it. I don't know. He was like with DBZ and everything. Hey Dean, how are you, Dr. Dean? But yeah, as I started growing into finding myself in my own kind of anime, I started getting drawn into I would say slice of life. Like in college, my husband and I, we started watching Chobits together, and it kind of drew us closer. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a throwback. Oh my God.
Yeah. That was a few years ago. I cosplayed Chi. I had just given birth to Senna. That's another story. I had a makeup artist come make me look as Chi as possible. No, I don't have time or anything to go crazy like that. But yeah, and it kind of drew us closer. I feel like anime, unlike American TV it makes you think. It's a lot more thoughtful, thought-provoking, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot more emotional. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
it helps you appreciate other people and loved ones. And it drew me closer to him. We even had the Chobits theme in our wedding. Uh,
Oh,
that we
cute.
danced. Nobody knew what the heck we were dancing to. It was just instrumental. But all it matters is that
No.
we had. But yeah, then we started getting into Clannad, which is like one of my favorite animes,
Yeah.
and then Soul
Mm-hmm.
Eater, Death Note, Steins Gate, K-On, what do you call it, Lucky Star. So it was all downhill from that. Honestly, but that was the beginnings. I can't even, I don't know, maybe in the thousands. I don't even know how many animes I've seen at this point. It's a lot. My daughter now has started to get into anime. Now she's watching Dragon Maid with us. It's getting a little more risque, so we're like, we kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
when you used to watch things as a kid and you had no idea it would go over your head, so we kind of go.
Right, you don't
We're like, oh,
realize
that
it.
dragon is licking. Oh, he thinks she could lick her because she's a dragon, like lick, lick, like ah,
Yeah.
lick, lick. But yeah, it immersed me into that, and then the culture. I started doing after convention parties. I used to go to like
Mm-hmm.
the senpai projects parties, and I can't remember right now. Epic Win Entertainment. They had
Mm-hmm.
like a Rule 63 event. I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
it is. Gender bending, and I was a female
Uh-huh.
Joker. Yeah, and it was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun. And I was like, this is awesome. So it kind of like gave me the push. And I actually was really shy. Sometimes I would go because my daughter was a baby and my husband would stay home. And that's how I would meet new people, I would interact with
Mm-hmm.
people in the same realm. And I'm like, what am I doing? I just gave birth. I'm in an Uber in New York City. Am I crazy? Like, what is wrong with me? Like, I had an epiphany moment. And I'm like, nah, this is totally fine.
No,
Totally
I
cool.
totally get it.
um, yeah, probably I watch more anime. You're busy with all that pharmacy stuff, Dean. But
That's you saying that. No, but I totally get it because after, I would say before I had my children, I also was into anime, more gaming, but also anime. Then I met my husband, and he also was a big fan of like Clannad and all those sort of slice of life and romantic kind of animes. And I would watch some, and then he got me into it, and then I had my kids and I got it into more other types of animes that I missed, like Ranma, which was like, I don't know why I was like with the kids, they're babies and rocking them. I'm cracking up with the way Ranma was at times. And, it does teach you those sort of lessons that you don't get in like Western
yeah, and
cartoons
like
and
just
stuff
about
like that.
respect and honoring each other
Hmm.
and understanding, just things that you normally don't see or think of, I guess. It gives you like different quotes or different thought processes. Even Korean drama, which is a whole new other thing I'm not gonna get into that I started getting
Yes.
into, but like there's some like Hi Bye Mama, and I started getting into K-pop and stuff recently, but yeah, it's I like it. They're really deep. I have like this special talent where I could kind of know what's gonna come up next in almost every plot for every movie, TV. It's American, but I'm
Yeah.
surprised a lot with anime. Especially when you
Hmm.
watch things like Full Metal Alchemist, the stuff that happens there,
Yeah. Oh my
or
God.
or what do you call it? Elfen Lied, like the really dark
Yes.
ones. You're like, oh crap,
I
they kind of
know. When
messed
I
up.
saw that show, I didn't expect it to take a turn like that. I don't want to spoil it to people, but it's really a kick-ass show. Like, oh my God, I didn't think it would turn like this. And yeah, I really like it
Yeah,
too. I
the
really
one of the
enjoy it.
characters is still one of the most hated characters in anime. But yeah, I have a whole scope of different kind of animes I watch from
Hmm.
horror to silly to borderline edgy things. There's not that many right now, but there was a lot back in the day, I guess, with all the clouds while girls are in the
Right.
spa surrounding them.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah,
like
so going back to like your beginnings with anime, I want to ask you like, um, what made you, because I guess as,
And I'm gonna get to
women,
Gist the Killer soon about the events after
oh
that.
yes, we'll
I
get there
want to make sure
soon.
I
So
acknowledge you. I see you. I see you.
yeah, so I wanted to ask you, conventions
Hmm.
are one, so many different types of conventions, and lately there's been a big explosion of many genres of
Hmm.
conventions. So you being an anime fan, when was that, like you said, the epiphany moment for you that you decided that I'm going to turn this into a convention, this love of anime, and I'm going to make this into a convention?
Yeah, it's a bunch of parts because I left out a few like when I started going there. So I started doing Perez Play, which was after convention parties, after I went to that event. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? I think I'm knock on wood. I'm sorry if I'm not, but I'm pretty sure in this area I was like one of the first ones to actually have vendors at these events. So that's how it
Mm-hmm.
started. There were like small events, and I had like a few vendors, and then I started expanding and having bigger events, more frequent events, even like cosplay pool parties and Valentine's events. And then I started a maid cafe. So after going to Castle Point and seeing that huge line and I couldn't enter, and
Oh,
I was just enamored
yeah.
by it all. And I kind of picked all the things I liked from conventions that I admired and things that I thought were lacking. And I kind of like, I'm like, let me try to
Mm-hmm.
do something even for my daughter who was bored and miserable at some conventions. I'm like, I want to make it something that kids can have fun with or
Mm-hmm.
parents can relax with and have a kid chill for a bit. I want everyone to feel included, no matter the race, the gender, the size, and anything like, part of a community. Because when I started,
Mm-hmm.
even cosplaying back in '04, New York Comic Con group, like one of the first ones, was so loving and welcoming. And then there was like a lot of like backlash and competition as the years went by. And I'm like, ugh, I don't like that. I'm
Yeah.
like, let me try to do like a very loving, happy, all-inclusive con that's like friendly, that you feel like family. So I kind of grew into
Mm-hmm.
that. The events then turned into the convention because I had so much staff and entertainers and DJs that I worked with that, I trusted, relied on, that were amazing. So I'm like, let's actually make
Mm-hmm.
it happen. It was always my dream when I started the smaller events. So I
Mm-hmm.
brought the Make Cafe with me too, that concept. So yeah, I put all things together and boom, Puchicon.
No, I
Yeah.
think the best thing is to let those actions lead you into what you want to create. And, even this moment is going to create something even grander for you, whatever it may
Also,
lead
thank
down
you. It's
to,
your
you
help
know.
definitely, and everyone that comes to the con, and the volunteers, the staff. Shout out to Brian who finally finished the schedule. Hoorah! I was like, Brian.
Yes, like I say, it takes a village, and I think one of the things as creatives, and me and you know this as
Yeah.
well, even educators as well, we know that even moms, I can say that
Mm-hmm.
honestly as a mom myself, is like we think that we could do everything ourselves,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's like sometimes we have to like suck it, really just say, I need help, I need my village, what can we do for each other to help out, to improve this? What can I do to, do that? And I feel like you listened to your heart and you listened to those around you
Oh
on
yeah.
making, anything better, making
Definitely,
this
because
better for yourself.
when I first started out, I made mistakes, and there were some people, that I felt that could help me, but I can't, then I couldn't rely on them after, and things happened. So I'm like, I'm just gonna do everything myself, and I burnt myself out, overwhelmed. I have, therapist appointments almost every week, every week, because it was like so overwhelming, so stressful, like everything with my life and work and my family and running a company. And I'm like, I need help, especially with the last convention. Me having ADHD, as I mentioned. And by the way, thank you, Dean, for the sweet words. Um, I know you're tough on feedback, but I'd rather you give constructive criticism because it helps. Because look, now I have a bigger team and they're delegating and helping me out and stuff. So I definitely need that, and
Yes.
I saw that at the previous convention because I took everything pretty much on my own, and there were some errors and some things that fell in the cracks. Because sometimes you think it's easier to just do it yourself, but then it creates other issues. So you just have to find people that you can rely on, that you could trust, which I believe I do have now. I have a great team. And as I always say, I always try to work with good people, like loving people, good-hearted people, that I could trust and that are talented. So that's
And I think
basically
that's
it.
something you learn from your own
Yeah, trial and
experiences working.
error and
Yeah.
lots
Yeah.
of
Learn your
heartbreak.
experiences that you learn in jobs. Like I know for me, like working in many different types of careers and jobs, that's something I've
Mhm.
learned that, you have to like find that, that group of people that are going to support you, that are going
Yeah.
to take, really have your back when it comes to this. That's also going to give you that, that glow and grow feedback.
Hmm.
Like this is where you're good at, you glow. This is where you need to work on, you grow. And I think like you're getting there every step of the way.
Thank you. I feel like everyone has strengths and weaknesses, of course. And even in like, let's say a professional level, like me, like let's say in a corporate environment, I do marketing and event planning and support a bunch. I've worn many hats, let's just say. And I feel like people try to push you to either do things out of your realm that you're not really, I don't know, fond of just to get it done. But I really feel like people should do what they love to do as much as they can, you know, of course, you know, because then you'll exceed, you'll be passionate, and as well as giving those that work with you recognition, praise, like actually appreciate them and show them, you know what I mean? And I've dealt with myself. I've seen it firsthand. Had pretty horrible bosses. I'm like, I don't want to be that. Try my best to have a good balance,
Yeah,
you know?
like Dean says, it's important to find people who are positive and keep you motivated. Yes, every
Yes,
realm in life, I agree
definitely.
with that.
But yeah, you definitely have to surround yourself with positive, good, honest people. That's like the most important thing to me. You know, and of course, reliability, accountability, all that comes. Being humble. It's all a package.
Yes, humble, definitely that. Lady Chappelle
Oh, and
says, I can't wait to
I
come
wanted to
next.
ask
No,
what
but going back to the convention,
sure,
so
sure.
you did these Perez Play mini events, which
Yes.
is amazing because I'm at that stage right now. I'm at the stage of doing these social mixer events. I'm affiliated with Tokyo Bronx, and we're also trying to do those mini events to eventually, get to that mini convention, but not like every, do a convention here in the city, do one eventually in Tokyo. But, of course, it takes
Ooh, that's
connections and
awesome.
patience and
I want to
things.
be a part of that.
Of course, I'm bringing everybody with me. Like, everyone's coming on the boat. Come on. Everyone's coming. So going back to that with Puchicon. So tell us more. So I know people are asking, like, because when I first reached out to you, this was like a year or two. This was 2 years ago when I was doing one of my social mixers, Halloween edition, with shout out to Ink Artists. They're amazing with their social mixer, well, their events in general. So I did a collaborative event with them, and I reached out to you and I first heard about Puchicon then, and I didn't know what it was. And hearing about it, hearing as a Latina yourself and as a woman, and you created this convention, it was like, I have to reach out to you and hear and know your story. And from that, I just want to know more and also share with newcomers, those who probably go but don't know, like, where did the idea of the name come from? Because people always wonder, where did the name
Oh
Puchicon
yeah, a
come
lot of people
from?
ask
And
that.
also, like, just talk a little bit more about Puchicon.
Yeah, because Puchicon itself, it was a small con, as you saw. We had when we started in Embassy Suites. It was literally one panel room and one vendor room, and I kind of wanted it in the essence be small, even how big we got. You know, for it to stay that intimate, like close kind of feel. You know, that bond. Regardless, like I don't know if it would be a repop or something one day, but I'm just saying.
Right.
So Pucci means petite, basically in Japanese, because
Mhm.
Chibi-Con was taken. So I'm like, let me think, because it's small. I
Oh,
want to
really?
include
Wow.
it small. So I looked at
Yes.
petite, and it's yeah, that's where it stemmed from, basically. And my daughter's very
Hmm.
much involved with things like she'll do a logo. She's trying to sketch a new flyer for. I was like, hey, I woke up and I'm like, Senna, I have a crazy idea. Let's do. I was thinking, I don't know if it's gonna happen, but doing a Puchicon in Florida. She's like,
Hmm.
oh, I want to do the flyer. And I'm like, maybe it could be funkin'. And she's like drawing and she's writing, what date is it? I'm like, girl, I don't know. This is just an idea. Like, I have to see it as soon as
Yes.
possible. But she gets so excited. Like, she gave me the idea for the Pokemon pool party. And she's always
Oh,
helping
nice.
out with art and other things. Like, she's so creative. So if she's my successor, she might be. Who knows? I'm not going to push if she doesn't want to. But she's very into all that stuff, too. Something physical.
Brooklyn Boy says, what are you most excited about PucciCon this year? Well, at least I would say maybe this one because you had one in June already at Fort Lee, Jersey.
Yeah.
So now you're having your one at Atlantic City. So you
I
can
would
maybe
say
say what was something you're excited about. Yeah.
the actual space is tremendous, and I'm like kind of overwhelmed. Initially, they actually came and reached out to me 2 years ago for me to work with them, and I already had like the smaller convention
Mm.
going on. So
Mm.
just the space itself, the boardwalk, the vibe, the beach. I'm all about like summertime. Even when we stayed, we had the staff stay for a day or two to relax and see the venue. It was just so relaxing and so nice to get away. So just like that kind of vibe, meeting new people in that area. and the new
Mm-hmm.
performers and such. And having like that bourbon room is amazing because it feels like it's an actual event with a stage. And like, oh, like look at that! You can't, So I would love to pack that one day. That would be
Okay,
awesome.
so we're getting questions about, I guess, Puchicon itself. So you explained already about Atlantic City. So before I get into my show and tell topic with you, which we're going to get into in the half-hour mark, Brooklyn Boy asks, how can I get a table? Well, let's go back to the first question. I don't want
Yes,
to
let's
forget
let's
that
bring that.
person about events. So what events you have going on there?
Yes, and you reminded me that I need to update something on the schedule. So
Hey, it's
I'll
good.
try to be as quick as possible and kind of give you an idea because I'm actually looking at it physically right now. I pulled it up just for you. Hopefully you're still on here. Maybe everyone else will.
They'll see it after too.
Yeah.
So.
So Friday we actually decided to have a little pre-party at Spirit Bar. They were gracious enough at Showboat. So basically everyone who's at the hotel and that's going to
Hmm.
Puchicon, if you're staying over, you could come see, Dolphin and Awesome and Prime do it up
Mm-hmm.
there. So
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, yeah, we have the vendors, obviously, from 10 to 7, variety of anime and gaming. And I've gotten into gaming too. I know I haven't touched into it, but I'll do it later. I'm a gamer, but more casual, maybe a little more during this whole thing where I became a VTuber and everything. But going to be gaming tournaments with Sonic, which is in here. I know I saw you.
Yes.
Then we have various like nerdy, geeky, 8-bit type, music having to do with anime. Like Lexicon's gonna come here. D&D Sluggers, Garage Pop Band. Then we have a multitude of voice actors. We have Krista Tolley. We have Lauren Lanza, which is Sailor Venus, and that Wolf from Beastars, which I can't remember right now. And she does a bunch of other that girl from Attack on Titan. The name is, when you get older, you'll see things will just escape you. Mark Whitman, which is from from what do you call it? Demon Slayer. And then we have Colin Oshagasi, which is Tails from Sonic. Kyle Herbert, which he does actually Fat Gum from My Hero Academia. And he also does the voice of Ken from Street Fighter. And then we have Paul St. Peter. He does a various amount of different voices, like old school stuff, which is pretty cool. And some new school things. And Allison Lee Rosenfeld, mostly known for Nurse Joy, and Kristen Nolan and Dennis Carter. So it's like a voice acting panel where they read, some of you might know, read it differently, like in funny ways. They read scripts. And they give a little feedback of how it's like being a voice actor, tips into getting into voice acting, stuff like that. We have a cosplay masquerade at 6:15 on Saturday to 8, and then a cosplay cabaret 8:15 to 9, and then a burlesque 18 plus only event 9:15 to 10. And that's just that. And then let me summarize because there's a lot. There's other voice acting panels. There's a lot of cosplay panels on how to get into cosplay no matter the age, shape, size. Cosplay 101. There's more anime bands like Otaku Ongaku. Mental Health with Nikki Loba. Shout out to her. She's like one of the sweetest, most calmest people. She's very, very, very nice. Renny Mamura is going to be here doing her maid show. Awesome is going to have a showdown. And unlockable content during the event is going to have Cons Against Humanity, which is a spin on Cards Against Humanity, obviously. And they're also going to do the GPS, and which is a Mario Kart racing tournament. Blindfolded again.
Nice. Oh, interesting.
I want to do it this year if I have time. I'm like, please. That's the bad thing that I love all the content I give and I'm so proud of it, but I can't see it rarely ever. But maybe with all the help, maybe I'll be able to sneak in a peek with you guys.
Yeah.
So what do you call it? Have that, and then they're also doing anime roulette where some of the voice actors are going to partake. And a lot of these, also, we have a lot of sponsors giving out prizes for the game shows, the cosplay masquerades, and all that. There's Guess the Anime opening. And then Paul St. Peter, which I mentioned prior, is going to give you actual, like, acting classes, which is awesome. So if you want to get into voice acting, he has two courses that day as well. There's going to be cosplay improv. And a Nintendo versus Sega, 30 years of the console with Zeno. If he's watching, I think I saw him. yeah, there's a super dance brothers, a cosplay dance battle.
Interesting.
So much going on. Then there's a maid cafe the next day, of course, gaming, more voice acting panels, disabled cosplay and posing with a mobility aid, and the Saga of the Shining Emblem, which is a very awesome improvised storytelling experience. I had some people come out of it that were like, I didn't expect this, like one of the best
Nice.
things that they ever experienced. It was very unique. So definitely check that out. And we also have kids events. Chris and Pete's Amusements also for kids events. They're going to do bubbles. They're going to do, what do you call it? Booger tag. This huge nose. Kids love gross things. You all know
Whatever kids love, yeah.
Can't get enough of it. So bubbles, magic shows, all that stuff. There's going to be cosplay and gender bending, cosplay time management, a Triforce Elgizi, weird video game consoles. There's going to be, because, I always incorporate physical and mental health. Pound rock out workout, which is you're actually using sticks, kind of how you would with taiko drumming, but like as a workout on the floor and stuff. So I thought that was awesome, and I'm like, let me try it out. Yeah, so there's more anime rapping with Kwame, kawaii fashion for those Lolitas and those into that culture.
Nice.
Yeah, that's all of that.
Oh no, that's definitely a lot of stuff for a fun-filled weekend. So
Yeah,
appreciate you sharing that
AC
event.
is a really fun spot to have, an event at. There's a lot to do. You go to the beach, relax for a little bit, have some saltwater taffy, iconic to AC.
Everyone's gonna bring their swimsuit cosplay for sure. Yes, because the beach is there, so why not, right? And then we have Wild Godin here. He's gonna be doing the con survival again at Puchicon, Atlantic City.
He was a great help too during the pandemic. We had virtual convention events, and they were very informative and helpful. Definitely follow him on Instagram as well. He gives a lot of tips also on travel, on the pandemic, just on health, mental health, and physical health. It's a great IG to follow. If you want to tag yourself, go ahead. I believe it's Wild Gordine as well.
Yes.
Cosplay in general and diversity. Yeah, there are cosplay. What do you call it? Panels as well. I know you, Lady Chappelle, are doing several, like the age one. Are you too old?
Nice.
And do I place my hand here? And then there's cosplay time management as well. What else? There's tons. We were even going through it with Brian earlier. He's like, there's so many. I'm like, trust me, they're all different. They sound similar, but they all have they're all different. So yeah. They all cater to different levels and different types of cosplay. They're pretty awesome. So there's something for everyone there, and for also first time people as well. Like Cosplay 101 and Dean's panel would help too. He's doing one for convention goers, so what you're getting into.
Brooklyn Boy asks, do you do guest cosplayers? Do you do guest cosplayers at the event?
I would like to. We have done guest cosplayers in the past. This year, I mean, I don't, or this particular convention, we do not, but you could always submit at puchianimecon@gmail.com if you want to, share your work, your bio, your following, and everything like that.
Right, yeah, I think not only your convention, Puchicon, but also I just saw something a few minutes ago from Brooklyn Comic Con. They got so many requests to do those things, and also vendoring and artist alley, that they got so overwhelmed that they don't even know if they could fit that in there, because they had the rollover from last year.
Oh yeah,
so bringing it this
that
year.
happened to us as well. Yeah,
so definitely, if not this event, there's always next event. I always tell people that.
Know, there's some people who apply for panels or as entertainers, even since the first Puchicon, that I couldn't use it because it was only literally one room, as I mentioned. So I use them at future conventions. So just because we don't choose you for a particular con or event now doesn't mean we won't in the future. We have so much budget, and we're working with a completely different territory. It's a beast compared to the other ones. So I'm making sure that everything fits as far as scheduling and budget and everything. So I just want to make sure that the people who are guests feel comfortable as well. I don't want to squish you in just to be in there and you're not happy or uncomfortable.
Right, yeah.
So we're looking for more Japanese centered entertainment to bring a little more of the actual culture too.
Right, because it's all about,
Obviously,
just
we have
like,
to pay tribute
you
to
know,
them, We wouldn't have
yeah,
anime
it's
and
all
everything else.
about understanding how this mesh of this culture came from.
Yeah,
So
of
we have to
course. The
understand
main
Japanese
cafe,
culture,
Super
right?
Mario, like everything. Animal Crossing, it's all there. It's all Japan. That's why
Hmm.
to go on a more serious note, not too serious, but like when COVID happened and there was all that Asian hate and everything. I just couldn't
Hmm.
believe it. With just how compassionate, loving, and how much they've given everyone, like for what they were getting, it was like totally unfair. Especially those within this community, if they were acting, a certain way, it's wrong to treat people differently, regardless. But
Hmm.
definitely with that, I just want to put it out there, especially with this convention. I definitely want to honor and remind people why this is, why this came to be. We wouldn't be Puchicon without Japan or Korea or Asian culture. Period. So.
Yes,
There was
yeah,
found
definitely
love with
true.
them. And Tokyo, Bronx, hello, like Tokyo.
Yes,
So yeah,
really just have to appreciate,
always appreciate other cultures. We learn so
U.S. is a
much from
melting
them.
pot. We have to understand like cultural diffusion. You have to understand like, when we migrate, we do take a little bit of that culture. So understanding and just being open, being
Yeah,
mindful of
we
like
learn so
we
much
have
because
these.
of other culture, their way of thinking, food, the way like even in a team. Let's say in a normal team, like at a 9 to 5 job, someone from another area of the world might have a different thinking out of the box that you would never think of. But
Hmm.
then some people don't even give them a chance to meet them because of that, and that doesn't make sense. You should always treat people
Yes.
by their character, and
Right.
that's the only thing. That's all.
So
That would go back to all the silly stuff. Just like
yes. So
say, be
while
kind
Dean says,
to
I
one
love
another and
being
appreciate.
exposed. Ooh, so I love being exposed to different kinds of cultures, especially food. That's one thing I learned when I was going to college. My professor was a detective during the day job because I had an adjunct professor. And he would say like when he would have to talk to, people who saw crimes or whatever,
Hmm.
the connection was food. So you're right on a mark when you say that food is the connection to everybody. Like, who doesn't love food? Who doesn't love like to just sit
Food
together
and
and just
music,
have
I think, is
food?
pretty along with
Yeah.
that.
Yes, and the Japanese merch too, like Triforce that Jeezy says. Yeah, like the merchandise is very nice, like even though in Japan it can be kind of pricey, but it does bring that influence, that impact of like they're very creative in the things they do. Because I
Very
feel like
bright, very
sometimes.
technically inclined, for sure.
Hmm. So I wanted to go into the halfway point in the show and tell piece. So as a mom, and of course I'm a mom as well, and we are creatives in our own right, and also entrepreneurs. So you said that with your convention and with your daughter being the mascot, it's so important for them to recognize that you recognize that the parents like they come in with no like what is this? They don't understand what
Oh
this
yeah.
conventions are, what is anime, what's cosplay, all the little cultural little snippets that they get from the anime. So here we're together and we're going to answer a few questions, or if you come on afterwards as parents, or maybe you're one of the kids going and your mom
We have a
has a
lot of first
question,
timers, parents
bring them in.
and
Yeah,
attendees.
so
Yeah.
I get these questions as well because I do video game tournaments sometimes and I have parents coming in asking questions and also as an educator. So as moms, like what can parents expect from your convention that's different? And also how can they embrace it together? How can they embrace the culture of the convention with Puchicon?
Yeah, so I definitely try to have more events that are like friendly for families to partake in together, like even like the Mario Kart one, or the magic show, or the bubbles, karaoke. My daughter loves Rennie to death. Maid cafes, things that are cutesy. Like I try to have like entertainment that is family friendly and PG
Hmm.
for the most part. Of course, there's like the 18 plus panel, and we have to give something for everyone. Fuck that.
Right, yes.
But for the most part, it's friendly for all ages, and I try to make it interactive and fun for everyone because I know it's stressful, especially bringing a kid to a convention, especially a larger one. And that's why I wanted to start doing smaller ones too, so it could be a little bit more airy, I guess, Because New York Comic Con, I love it, but sometimes I cannot breathe or move. I feel claustrophobic.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't
I'm like,
I didn't have my children, but my brother had my niece with him, and I was like, how are you even doing this?
no, we
Like
haven't brought her to New
Sunday,
York Comic Con.
Sundays is family day, but it's like insane. It's
Yeah.
like no breathing room.
We brought her to
Nothing.
Castle Point, and even then, like the long line, she's like, oh, this is like she was like 3 or 4. She's like, like she
Yeah.
did not want to wait. I really wanted to go in the cafe, but she's like, no. So yeah, I
Yes.
definitely wanted to have like a bigger space. Also, that's a good point, that there wouldn't be long lines that people could get into. You know, just not have it so bombarded and crowded, because kids have such short attention spans, even us now with all the technology and all that. So it's
Right.
definitely, like I said, like I try to make it more spacious, more family oriented, more events that kids would enjoy as well, and more PG events. And I also try to have, or I try to encourage parents to, you know, a lot of parents actually feel comfortable, or newcomers that come up to me, like, this is my first con, or my daughter was bullied because, this is why I wanted to have this conversation too, because she did a death note, or she had a death note in school, and like she got suspended over it, and it became a huge thing. And then the mother, you know, and was against her into anime and such at first, but then she started learning and became supportive of it. And then our convention was the first one that she went to. But I know, like, I would say to educate yourself as well as parents. Like I have my brother-in-law, when I first started into anime, they all think I got BB into anime. I'm like, he liked anime before me. I'm like, too. Because they're like, oh, I was the weird girlfriend into all this crazy stuff at the time.
He was the secret one.
Yeah, and all the crazy hair colors and all that stuff. But it, like, there's, you know, there's anime, of course, for adults. Not everything's octopus. Like, that's what he thought. It was all like X-rated stuff. There's stuff that you can enjoy with, you know, with your family. Like, I think Clannad's a great one, or K-On! There's a lot of cute animes to start up with your kids. You could cosplay and dress up as them, and it's a form of expression. Think of it, it's nothing strange. It's just like Halloween, but you get to actually act and perform as well, and it brings out the child's creativity, whether in cosplay, in face paint, in art, in creating drawings and anime. So it's a really great outlet, especially for those who have liked interest. And maybe are shyer. It's a way for them to express themselves outside of the box, where they feel comfortable, and people who share those interests as well. So it's definitely something positive for the most part. I wouldn't say negative. And I think now it's getting more pop culturalized, but before it was seen very strange. I mean, you can walk in New York City and people are like, oh, it's Comic-Con. Even here, like, if you're in cosplay, people still feel like, what the heck is going on? Like, if you're in New Jersey or somewhere else, it's kind of still strange. But it's definitely a good thing. It's a hobby like anything else. Like, people go to football places with face paint and crazy costumes, or people are obsessed with cars. Just like people are obsessed with figurines and stuff. And I have them all over my house. Like, all over my desk.
Right, yeah. There's the, there's the
so, like,
people that collect the sports. What are they? They collect the
sports
baseball cards.
Baseball cards,
yeah.
And, you know, whatever brings you joy, great. If something, you know, you're not familiar with brings someone else joy, they're not hurting anyone, let them do them. Especially your kids.
Exactly.
You should always empower them to do what they love, what they're good at.
Yeah, everyone has their interests.
You know what I mean?
Like Dean is saying, everyone has different interests, and it's fine. And
Yeah.
I think, like you said too, like we're now gravitating toward that genre. Like Japanese and Eastern influences are coming in with the anime. Anime and mangas are becoming more bigger than comics, and Western. Like I talked about this with another guest previously, and about how this is such a big cultural shift in like entertainment, and how we have to understand as parents, you know, especially the older generation, understand that this is here to stay. And but the difference is with Japanese manga or Korean manga or comics and anime, they bring in that story of life. They bring in those life lessons that sometimes those Western cartoons didn't have. And it's a waypoint, mentioning this to parents out there, it's a waypoint to talk to your children about this. You know, I remember growing up in the 90s, like we had so many subliminal messages about
and anvils falling on heads.
Yeah, like say no to drugs. And I was so sick of hearing this. You don't know how sick I was hearing "Say No to Drugs" message that even the Ninja Turtles were saying it. I'm like, okay, I get it. Say no to drugs. I understand. All right. But it's like, there has to be a positive message, not
Yeah.
always that negative message. And I think when it comes to Japanese anime and manga, they bring that positive message instead of trying to spread this negative message that, Western
It's
cartoons
always
have
like,
done.
don't, not like do this. It's
Don't
always
do
like, don't do
this,
this, don't do this. But like Japanese, like, you should be this way, or look, be kind to one another. And then you have movies like Silent Voice, which I know is touchy for some, but it teaches you about
Hmm.
kindness and bullying and, being good to one another. So, yeah, you could definitely get a lot, even with Chobits, which I started off talking about. Just, kindness to like even a robot. And it's just like, there's a lot of really good things that you could take away from it. So definitely don't
Right.
think it's something strange for your child. Embrace it. Become a part
I
of
think it's
it.
more
Watch
that, I
something
think it
new.
is? The parents are more like not feeling comfortable because they don't understand
Yeah.
like conventions. But with Puchicon, your convention, you are embracing and welcoming parents to ask questions, to be
Yeah.
like, hey, this is what our convention's about. What do you want to know? Like, talk to your child actually and say, this is what they're learning, this is what they are interested in, and ask them questions about it. And that's something as an educator myself, I always told parents, if your child loves gaming, animes, why don't you have a conversation with them and ask them why they love that? Why do they love that certain show? It creates conversations, and I think your convention does that.
Yeah, and like mentioned earlier, like the yoga and the mental health is like all ages. Like it's very important also to teach our children, mental health as well. Like for it to become less taboo, and it's something very prevalent as well in the cosplay, anime, gaming community. Mental health for sure. So it's
Hmm.
incorporated for all ages as well. So that's like something
Hmm.
positive that you could attend with your child too. Like you could do yoga with them, or you could attend the mental health panels or some of the workout panels with them and have fun, batting clubs.
Yeah.
So it's a really good bonding experience, I would say too, for parents. Because some
Right.
are
Like,
like, I'm just gonna drop my kid and just head for the hills and pick them up
yeah.
later. I get those emails like, can I just leave them? And and they're
Oh,
asking me what age, and because they were 16, I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but 13 and under, they would have to have a parent with them, or 12 and under.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just mentioning like just like we were talking about the 90s, panels for all ages, just mentioning about like just bridging the gap. And that's something I think that you want to emphasize in your panel, especially you as a mom, as a
Hmm.
parent, and you want, every generation to understand like this is what your child is into. And if you want to connect with your child, this is probably the best way to do
Yeah, and you
so.
might enjoy
Yeah.
it too. Who knows?
Hmm. Right,
I've heard
yeah.
a lot of stories where parents, sometimes the parents, obviously they get their kids into it, or the kids are inspired by the parents, but sometimes the kids
Yeah.
turn the parents into cosplayers or into gamers or anime lovers. So it goes both ways.
Yes, yes, it definitely does. And yeah, I think it's so important just when parents do come. So if you're a parent and you're planning to come to Puchicon, just don't be afraid to just embrace it, ask questions to your child,
If you
just,
see me, just ask.
observe.
If I'm running around, just follow me. Try not to lose me. Hopefully, it won't be as
Yeah.
crazy. You'll just see me like jetting somewhere, trying to go
Right.
somewhere, help someone. So.
Hmm. So, anything else about Puchicon that you want to mention in regards to maybe this one, or maybe what is something that you envision with Puchicon in the near future? Of course, you have your daughter as the mascot, so I'm assuming that this is going to be something that's going to grow with her as well, and it's going to evolve. And I think it's so important
Oh
in our
yeah, it's
society
definitely gonna
that
probably
things
take a
evolve.
spin on her. It'll probably be a lot of emphasis on art and her art in there, I can imagine. We were even
Hmm.
playing around with the idea of her hosting an art panel, but we had to test it first. I don't know if we're gonna do it
Right.
here yet,
Yes.
but
Yes.
she's starting to get really really good. But I want to see how she feels, because we had her be a judge and it was very overwhelming for her, a cosplay judge.
Oh.
So
But it's great that you're having your daughter at such a young age understand all these, as a Latina entrepreneur and as a female, that this is like the stepping stones, the building steps of like trial and error, and like how to have your own wealth, how to have your own business.
Oh
And
yeah.
she's learning that
She
step by
asked
step.
me the other day, actually, Mom, do I have to go? Not mom, she doesn't call me mom. But, Mommy, do I have to go to college? And I told her, like, if you are successful and
Yeah.
do good in school, and maybe you'll become an entrepreneur and you don't have to, like, you're so bright. Like, it's not necessary. Like, I'm a big believer, like, I went to school, but I'm a big believer in, like, apprenticeship or being an entrepreneur or, you know, outside the box, because the college doesn't work for everyone and necessarily doesn't have to be for everyone either. So that's you
Mm-hmm.
know, that's really important too. And
Yeah.
I teach her stocks. She knows about stocks. She knows about Doge. I try to teach her about
Right.
money. Vending and like everything like about life as I
Mm-hmm.
can to get her well rounded. And I push her if she's really into something and like go for it. That's awesome. You know, like whatever she wants to
That's
run with,
right.
because every
So
week she
true.
has a new passion of something that she's into. So
They learn through experience,
yeah.
and I feel the same way. Like, why shun your child away from doing something that you might have had a bad experience,
Hmm.
but let them learn and have those options to do those things, like what's going to work for them. Like Dave Chappelle said, teach them young, be a positive force. Art is the soul. Amen to that. Yes, I definitely agree with that, Lady Chappelle. That's so true. Like, teaching them young to make these choices in life that is theirs, that they're going to be able to love themselves and love what they do.
Yeah.
Keep her open-minded, critically thinking. Yes, very true.
Definitely. Like and kids are so much brighter and are so much more capable than, you know, many give them credit for. I used to be a Montessori teacher. Actually, that's one thing that
Mm-hmm.
you guys, for parents, I used to teach too and like Tokyo Brunch. So it's very important for me to have like some kind of education in everything I do, and you know, in one way or another. So, you know, that's
Mm-hmm.
always important. Kids are, you know, they're much brighter and we can learn so much more from them than we give them
Mm-hmm.
credit for. So definitely listen to them. I know we get, you know, bombarded, even myself, but really try to make space. I always tell Sana, because I think she has ADD, write it down and I'll get to it in a second. Just hold on a second.
Right.
Write it down. But I want to hear it. But, you know, just,
Yes, so
or show me
everyone's
the
agreeing
art
with
as
what
soon
you
as I,
said.
yeah.
Yeah, like everyone's agreeing with what you said. Like, college is just one path, and
Yeah.
it's just opening them up to many different paths. Like, I know other countries like Europe and out in Asia that a lot of the students, when they graduate high school, they take like the year off and they travel the
Oh,
world, or
yeah, yeah.
they,
That's good.
and they learn different experiences. And that's something that I think not even adult yet, because at 18, I don't consider them an adult. They have to learn at 18. Like, you don't have to make your life choice right there.
Yeah.
Experience life, see what are the things that you want to do based on those
Yeah, I
experiences.
started out as a teacher and look at me now. You know, so that's what I'm trying to do. Have us grow, you know, go all over the country, first the US, hopefully, have a big enough team to do something like that so we could all travel. And my goal is this to be my main only thing, you know? Because you
Hmm.
know, I know what I'm good at and what I enjoy, and that's what I want to do all the time, basically. And it would be awesome to have my family, like my daughter, be a part of it and maybe lead it in her own direction one day. So
Yes,
I hope you
very
guys
much
could join
so.
us and see
It's that generational wealth.
every
Yes,
flyer you see is whatever she's into at the moment. So you kind of see
that's nice.
like like her evolving through also how
Yes,
older she looks through each flyer and what she's into,
nice.
Among Us and Animal Crossing and all that stuff.
That's great. So we're coming down to the wire. So the last two questions I have for my guests always is, Tiffany says my teacher in fifth grade dressed up also. Yeah, it's good to dress up. So my second to last question is, with the ACG Social Mixer being a networking company, also just a networking experience, we want to know, how has networking been for you, or what are some tips or things that you do when it comes to networking? How has that benefited you?
Well, definitely, you know, joining streams like this. I would say it's good to network and think outside the box. I myself used to make networking events back in Perez Play, like free. Just, you know, look for meetup, Facebook groups, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what I forgot? One thing I'm going to mention is really important, and it ties into this networking thing. Before I did Perez Play and everything else, I did Nerdy New Jersey, New York, which now has like, uh, 3,000 or 4,000 members or something, because I felt like
Nice.
everyone spoke on New York Comic Con, but they didn't hang out in real life. And I thought that was
Yes,
so important. And I wanted to make more
very much.
friends in this cosplay anime gaming realm. So that's what the first
Very
thing that actually
true.
sparked it. So from there, I started doing
Nice.
events because I started meeting people and making friends. So definitely look into groups, create your own groups, go out there, hunt Pokemon if you still do that. I stopped a while ago, but Discords, go to Discord, interact with people streaming, go out to cons, as far as, that there's a signable now where you can network if you're a small business. There's just a lot of resources out there now to help, people if you have like a passion or a dream, or you're trying to be an entrepreneur. And like, I'm always here to help. I'm sure Rosa, like we're learning still, but we know some things to try to get you out there more. Look into billboards, get little ads out there. There's even free sites like for NewJersey.com is free. Just look for event sites. If you have smaller events that you can post for free online.
Right.
It's to get out
Definitely.
there. SEO, WordPress, blogs, all of that. Just go
Yes.
nuts.
So, Jen, I thank you so much, and Puchicon for joining us for Instagram Kicks Us Out. Where can people find you?
Oh boy. Okay. So Puchicon on Instagram, Puchicon.com. If you go there, you can see all the Discords, Twitter, Facebook, YouTubes, all that. And we'll see you at Atlantic City August 28th and August 29th, and Rosa as well. More info again at Puchicon.com, where you can get tickets if you want a vent or whatnot. I hope to see you guys. I love you and I appreciate you guys. And peace and love always. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jen.
Bye.
Don't
Thank you,
forget,
Rosa. Appreciate
Puchicon
you.
Puchicon is taking place on the weekend of August 28th in Atlantic City at the Showboat. Tickets are still going on sale, so please grab your tickets, and this is going to be amazing, and you're going to learn a lot more. If you're a parent, please attend. Thank you so much, Jen. I
Thank
really, truly
you.
appreciate it.
Bye
I'm
bye.
humbled.
Jane, mataste.
Okay, take care.
Bye.